Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Coach, and this is the ENLS series. All right, now before we get started today, I have a very special guest, and if you're just interested in hearing what he has to say, go ahead and skip to the end. He has a lot of great information, and you can always come back to the beginning when you finish with that. For the rest of us, let's go ahead and get started. Most people are going to be really disappointed after, say, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and they haven't lost a pound. Maybe they put on muscle. There's a lot of things that can happen in, say, body composition changes. Don't want you to focus on the scale too much. If your goal is to lose just pure weight, maybe you are chasing that because of a medical reason. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I took a class a few years ago, and it was in like health and, let's say, physiology and the psychology of everything that goes into that. And it had a really big, let's say, mark on my perspective. It really kind of motivated me to want to bring change. It was something that I had no clue about in terms of our obesity rates today, and it's something that can be preventable. We're also in a society where, hey, the cards might be stacked against us, right? It's really easy to eat high calorie dense foods that are highly palatable. And I'm not saying they're bad, but if you have a, say, health risk and it's preventable, wouldn't you want the quality of life rather than just like doing what's easier? And to me, like, there's nothing wrong if you have extra, say, body fat, but if you're at a weight or, say, a body composition where you can't do the things, or you're being prevented from being the person you want to be, you can change. What I'm going to do, especially with fat loss, is I'm going to look at the pictures. I'm going to see if my waist is dropping, and if something's changing, then I know that I'm going in the right direction. And the body is very complex, and it's very intelligent, and it's very interesting and kind of simple sometimes if you think about it. What'll usually happen is if I have a high calorie week, it won't reflect the current week I did that, but the next week I will look very different. And the same with the scale. The scale takes a few days to catch up. So I don't want you to be discouraged at this point. If you haven't lost any weight, that's fine, because what's most important is that we get maintenance calories. After 2 weeks of seeing the same consistent calories and our body composition has changed 0, you found that. And if you can do that within a month, you are light years ahead of most people who are just cutting calories. They have no clue what their maintenance is, and they may be in a high calorie deficit. It's most likely you're going to rebound. The best way to lose weight is to do it slow over time. If you are trying to just lose body fat, about a pound a week is what we want to shoot for. And it could be as little as a half a pound a week, depending if maybe you actually fall into, say, maybe a slightly overweight kind of category. But if you're maybe morbidly obese, you may be one of losing 2 pounds a week, because if you calculate that over a year, 2 times 52 is 104 pounds. And if you can do that in a year and, let's say, keep the muscle you have intact, then you're actually going to look very, very different. And what's most important is the habits you built in that process. If you don't have habits that are going to stick and you're going to revert back, well, what was the point of that year? It doesn't make any sense. So a lot of these diets that kind of target, hey, I'm going to get you there quick. What's the point if you're just going to go back? Now, these are a lot of the important things that we need to understand about our bodies and how they work. And we're not going to get into the scientific or the details of how this all happens. And don't pay too much attention to it right now, because I have an interesting layout coming in the application today. Really more important to understand what they are and how they're affected. When most people hear the word diet, they think it means to lose weight or that you're trying to lose weight, but that's not necessarily what it is. It's a nutrition approach. And part of the reason we learn about a lot of this stuff is in ENLS, you're trying to make your own diet, customized just for you. Now, what you're going to see here is an actual layout and things that you've already achieved or are working towards. And I do believe in phases. This program actually does have structure. Remember, ENLS is an education concept. Therefore, we have to make sure it has some sort of plan or strategy or tactic or organization to it, right? Now, the ones in green are things that you've probably already been doing or getting better at and working towards. We're never going to be able to perfect these, because in a lifestyle, we're always kind of changing or adapting depending on what's different in our environment. The things highlighted are what we're going to start moving towards, things that we're going to adjust, going to make our habits a little bit different. So macros are something that are going to take time to learn. If you're really good at macros, this part is going to be really easy. Probably already understood them to some level. So we're just going to keep hitting those because, like I said, they can give you an advantage. Meal frequency is something that has research on it. And a lot of people want to think it's about speeding up metabolism. And that's not why I use it at all. Every time you're making a meal, you're getting more info, you're getting more data, you're learning. Therefore, it's education, which is really important in this whole process. Whether or not meal frequency speeds up our metabolism or not isn't important. It's also an opportunity for us to stay full, stay ahead of the game. We already discussed this about not suffering, staying ahead of the curve, and not being hungry. And we're going to get into this a little bit more in upcoming weeks, so don't focus on it too much right now. And I did say in the very beginning that ENLS is a concept where we're unlimited. We can do anything, we can eat anything, right? And what we're going to learn at some point that that's the case. But while we're trying to build discipline and self-control, restrictions are really important. And it's something that we're going to talk about more next week. Each and every day we have hundreds, maybe thousands of choices. And nutrition is one that you really do have a choice. Whatever you put into your body is something that you physically did. It's not something that somebody made you do. It's something that you had the choice. And if you have the education of what you put in, then that can be really helpful in terms of having the perception or changing perception of, oh, wait a minute, is this what's best? Is this aligned with my goals? Who do I want to be? Does this align with anything of what I want to do in life? You can ask yourself those questions in order to make change. And that's what we're going to be doing. And a lot of what we're going to be learning in the next few weeks is like questioning a lot of the things that we've learned and been taught in terms of what our body should be like and what are some of the things we're given. Maybe you'll disagree with me, and that's okay, because it's how I see the world. And if you just try it, you might end up agreeing with me, or you might just be a little more solid in your disagreement. It really doesn't matter, because if you get to your goals because you challenge something I told you, then I still had the impact, right? Because you made change. And that's what this is all about. So what's most important is that it's something that's always in the back of your mind, something that you're always thinking about. Now, for the very few of you who follow along with this, I'm trying to do my best in terms of giving you a break and changing it up and keeping you a little bit fresh. It's hard to just listen to someone talk over and over and over, and I'm not that interesting, let's say. So for today's application, we're going to give your ears a little bit of a break and do something a little bit different. You'll be able to follow along, narrate in your own mind as you read through each of the bullet points. What got you into health and fitness?
So my name's Eric Norton. Played sports my entire life, playing baseball, playing football, all that kind of stuff. I was injured a lot as a kid. I graduated undergrad about 6 years ago. Graduated grad school about 4 years ago. I came from college athletics. So I was working college baseball, college football, college soccer, college track and field, working with all those athletes, keeping them healthy. And I wanted to help those kids try not to be injured and be able to get back on the field and play the sport that they love, because I know how it felt. That sucked, and I wanted to make an improvement on those kids' lives. Anytime that they did get injured, I would work with their injuries, go through the rehab process. I did a lot of post-surgical rehab, basically from the day that they went under the knife to the day that they got back on the field. I was there every step of the way, every single day working with them. So it was super cool being able to do that.
Staples, pointers, keys, would you give someone?
Everybody has their own goals. Everybody has their own thing that they're working on. So don't be intimidated by other people. There's a lot of people out there that, are bodybuilders, stuff like that like to intimidate people and be like, oh, well, you can't lift, 400 pounds. So, you shouldn't even try. That's not true. I would honestly say the biggest thing is consistency. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a really long time. You're going to see very small changes, continuously working and everything. That's what's going to make that difference. It's not just going to be the weekend warriors that work out one time a week and they work out for, a month and they're like, okay, well, why don't I have a six pack? That's not going to happen. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. There's a lot of education out there. There's a lot of things on YouTube. There's a lot of things on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Do your own research. You have to sift through things and be able to be willing to have an open mind and try different things. And if something doesn't work for you, then, move on and try something else. Being able to get different people's points of view and being able to see, something that worked for me and you talk it to another trainer from Turning Point, it's going to work completely different.
There's a lot of commonality and a lot of things we're talking about here. And this is someone who actually has the expertise, the training, the lifestyle, the background. So tell me a little about what your goals are in the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year.
As soon as I got done playing college baseball, I was like, okay, well, I didn't really have any goals. I was a super competitive person. So I got really into lifting, really into working out and everything. I was around it all the time. So I've been lifting for the last 4 or 5 years, just getting after it. We're training for a Spartan race that's going to be in January, and then we're going to do a photo shoot. So I'll be kind of doing a little bit more bodybuilding. Next November, in about a year, I'm going to try and do another Ironman.
A heck of a goal. That's a lot in there for those of you who are new.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
luck with that for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
And we'll see you at the next training session,
Awesome.
right? All right. And that's it for today. And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.